as money when it comes to raising GV partners? You can unmute yourselves, actually. That would be great. Anyone? Anyone? Or you can write in the chat.
I can share from Vietnam.
Sure. Amazing.
Okay, so for Vietnam context, so the thing that the LC lose the money is first like to to face sort of face like raise the partner. So mainly our partner like is NGO, so they don't have like much money to cover all of the costs or support the cost for the EP or ISEC. And second is the LC does not have a proper financial tracking tool for like collecting the money from the partner. So basically like whenever the EP come and the EP leave already, they haven't collect the money. So I have the previous experience in sales, and like they know how to sell. They are really good at selling and raising the partner, but not that like tracking the money, because like the financial mindset of the IGB commission is not like that strong, like since previous year. And the thing that worked well in my IGB sales is I feel like the market is kind of suit with the value proposition of GV, so we are easy to raise a partner. But from MC also, we don't have like national partner for GV to really like sponsorship or to cover the cost of the local partner. Yeah, that's from Vietnam.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think a lot of us can relate to it, and also because most of us have NGOs as our partners. That kind of gives us this, not an excuse, but like this is the major challenge that we have, that we think that NGOs usually do not have the money, and then we end up selling things to NGOs more than what we can actually afford to. So this is going to be like major thing that we're going to be discussing today as well, how we can ensure that that doesn't happen, and also understanding the value of our product, because if we are selling GV to a partner, it is still a very good value. We get it, like NGOs or our major partners usually do not have the money. But I would also like to know from you, why do you think we end up raising partners who don't have money at the end? Is it just about doing exchanges? Is it just about doing exchanges, or is it about something else? Because in the end, if you're doing it for the sake of doing exchanges, or I know like one of the things when you're doing GV is that you get to create impact, and you're doing it for the sake of creating impact. But then again, if you are continuing to raise partners who are not, and in the end giving financial sustainability, that is hindering your progress, or that is hindering your future of actually continuing to create an impact. So this is something that we really need to understand, and this is the mindset that you should downscale to the LCs as well. And just a guide to sustainable GV partnerships, basically raising partners who pay, ensuring that the partners that you are approaching, or that your LCs are approaching, they actually qualify the partners, and they don't end up just raising partners who are just for the goodwill and who cannot pay. I'm not saying that make your GV GV prices too high, but ensure that it's able that you are qualifying your prospects, you're qualifying your partners that you're approaching for GV partnerships who actually have the capacity to pay. And then dealing with angry and difficult partner, speaking from my experience, and I would also like to know from you if you have faced such situations. When it comes to GV, you're usually dealing with numbers, like more numbers than usual GTs. And when you're dealing with numbers, things might go wrong. And when things might go wrong, you might also have to deal with angry or difficult partners who will be like, okay, I'm never gonna work with ISIC again, or I don't know, your delivery was really shitty, or these issues happened, and things like that. So how can you also deal with those angry or difficult partners? If you're not managing currently any GV partnerships, it would still be very good if you would understand these skills, understand these tips, and also downscale it to your LCs. And then retaining past partners. So I would like to know from you now, how many of you are facing issues with continuing to do GV exchanges because of COVID? I think it's going to be everyone, but you can write in the chat because I like to see interaction. India, yes. I mean, I should not applaud it. Like, yes, no, but oh no. Yes, everybody is getting affected, definitely. Yes, exactly. So just an activity, if you have a pencil or a paper, or if you have a document open, or if you have an online journal, if you can write just, the skills that you think are required for you to become successful in GV sales. And these can be like hard skills when it comes to your LCVPs doing GV sales, or if it's you who is doing GV sales. Yeah, what are the top 5 skills that you think are required to become successful salesperson? And then you cut these factors to 3, and then you can just directly write it in the chat. I will wait for you. I'm waiting for you in the chat. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what are the 3 factors? You can write in the chat, I am waiting, waiting, waiting. 3 factors that you think are required: market research, clear value proposition, yes. Negotiation, market analysis. Okay, iGV, national partnership portfolio, finance and iGV synergy, commission sales culture, and if can, yes, legality support. Definitely, definitely. Okay, so for these I would say like the things that are directly related to iGV, I'm going to share a document with you after this session in the output, and those are the things that can directly be tackled there. But right now in this session, I'm going to be talking more around this circle of the sales skills that you would require usually. So there are usually a lot of things that impact your behaviors when you're doing GV sales or any sales in general. And some of them are changeable, that you can really control, you can really learn over time, you can gain those skills, and some of those are really not changeable. So when it comes to the things that are not changeable, number 1 could be IQ, like how smart are you? And these can be according to the level to which you can innovate. Smart working, that is technology questioned. How much do you benefit from using technology? Your attitude question, which is like how much are you willing to acquire knowledge? And amplifying everything, which is like emotional quotient. And this emotional quotient is the one thing that is the most required when it comes to excelling at sales, because you're dealing with partner. Excelling at sales, again, to master sales, we have to work specifically on our emotional intelligence, and also taking the tough decisions where you know that this could be a potential partnership, but in the long run, it's going to hurt you. And I think this is the issue that we face a lot in GV, that we look at it from the perspective of just creating an impact, which is super important. We are in ISEC, we are in the business of creating impact. But on the other hand, if you're just looking at it from the perspective of creating an impact and not from the perspective of sustainability or taking the tough decisions of where not to partner because it's going to hurt you in the long term. It's also about that. So 4 things that are really required when it comes to emotional intelligence is self-awareness, sales drive, empathy, and self-control. So when it comes to self-awareness, this is something that if you've done GV sales in the past, you might also relate to it. What are your strong points? What are the things that when you pitch to a partner, what are the things when you are having a conversation with a partner actually trigger you sometimes? For example, me doing BD for the past 5-6 months, I've realized one thing that I'm really one of my strong points about talking about ISEC is that I'm really passionate, or I can really effectively communicate the impact that ISEC creates. But one of the things that I probably need more efficiency in, I probably need more improvement in, is actually communicating or negotiating the financial aspect of it, because I come from India, and I'm not sure if MC from India here would relate, but talking about money can be sometimes an uncomfortable topic. So this is something that I'm really getting used to, and I'm self-aware that this is something that I really need to work on. So this would be great if you can also communicate it, or if you can also downscale it to your commissions to be self-aware on the things that they really need to improve. Because again, IGV is not just about impact. I think IGV, when you're doing IGV, it's the most famous product the most favorite product that you're ever going to work with, because again, it's the beauty of ISEC, it's the beauty of exchange, it's the beauty of living diversity, it's the beauty of just making the world a better place. But if you're not doing it sustainably, you're actually endangering the existence of ISEC in the coming years in your entities. And then there is a sales drive. How much do you actually want to sell? How much do you want to create partnerships that are purposeful as well as sustainable? How much do you want to raise partnerships that are not just there for one year, not just there for 2 years, but actually long standing? And empathy, how much, when you're trying to sell to partners, are you going it with just the mindset of selling a GV project, or are you actually adapting to the needs of these partners? Because if you actually adapt to these needs when it comes to raising partnerships, there would be a possibility, if you're directly pinpointing their pain points, that they might even agree to investing more money in you. And then there is self-control as in the situations when there might be conflicts, there might be things that don't work out, and then how are you able to handle those situations? Guide to raising partners that stay and pay. Number 1 is bonding and rapport building. And this might be something that is not directly, pinpointing to GV, but because this workshop is going to be about GV sales, how you can be better salespeople. And number 1 issue is going to be about raising partners that stay and pay. So we're going to be discussing majorly that. And in the end of the session, we're going to have a Q&A space. So we can discuss the questions related to GV, related to other sales topics in the end, okay? So guide to raising partners that stay and pay. Number 1 is bonding and rapport building. So when it comes to doing sales, it's not just about you selling a product, you selling your NGO, you selling the NGO your project, you selling probably MNCs your projects. It's majorly about how you represent yourself as a person, how you're able to bond with this person that you're talking to in this organization, and also how you're able to represent your organization again. And then it comes to expectation setting, upfront contract. This is very, very important. So upfront contract is basically the kind of things or the kind of context that you set before a meeting or before any conversation that happens in these meetings. So it can be, let me take an example. You're going to a company for a GV sale or just a normal sale, and you set the expectation that, okay, after the end of this meeting, I would like to just set an expectation that if you think that this makes sense for your business, we can have another touch point with the rest of your team. Would that be okay with you? So you're setting expectation of what you eventually want out of this meeting. After this meeting, I would like to check with your sustainability team on the projects that they're working with. And would it be okay if you think that what I'm presenting to you, or this collaboration makes sense, that we could have a meeting after this with your whole team, something like that, that you're setting expectations of what you're eventually expecting out of it. Then you have qualification. Number one point in where GV sales usually go wrong is we do not qualify people, and we usually just go about selling things to anyone that could help us create impact. Again, I feel like a Grinch saying that, okay, you should not directly go about giving away GV projects to everyone, but it is so important because it's money. We are, even though we are an NGO, we are not for profit organization. We still need money to survive, and this is where things go wrong. And then you have negotiation, or you send a proposal and then you close, and after that it comes to the delivery and everything. So raising partners that pay. Are you raising partners that can pay? That is the question. And majority of us have partners that are NGOs. And when it comes to raising partnerships with NGOs, or raising projects with NGOs, I would like to know from you, do you usually, or from your experience, if you've done GV sales in the past, or if you have insights from your LCVPs, when you're raising partners that are NGOs, do you usually consult on the volume that you can actually deliver being sustainable within the amount that the partner is paying? I think that would be the right question to ask. I would like to know from you, do you usually consult on how much you can actually afford according to the amount that this partner, this NGO can pay you? So you are not eventually ending up delivering more things or stretching yourselves out too thin, um, and then delivering more than what they're paying you for. Chat, okay. Okay, anyone can write here. And also, are you investing your time and resources in the right process? This is something that we're going to discuss in detail. But are you raising partners that can pay? Or do you usually consult with the amount that this NGO is paying you, how many EPs or how many experience you can deliver sustainably in that amount? Do you usually consult with that? Waiting, guys. I'm waiting for you to write in the chat if you do not know. Okay, that's really good. Vietnam does that. Who else? Do your LCs do it on a regular level, like regular routine? LCs do. Okay, that's great. That's great. And in Vietnam, you usually face, okay, commission sales culture. Okay. We didn't raise partners that can pay in the past year. That is the thing that needs to change this time. Yes, absolutely. Some raising partners that can pay and some of the partners that are not. But okay, makes sense. The thing is, when it comes to sales, you have the power of what you promise. And if this is something that is eventually going to hurt you financially in the long term, or even in this year, then you need to take quick decisions on, okay, we are not gonna go ahead with this partnership, or we are not gonna be delivering this many exchanges that we cannot eventually afford. So right now I have like a short link for you, which is on financial model change. This is a new guide from AI, and I'm going to be sharing it with you after this call. This is the link. You will also get it in the output, and the document basically explains the scope of the change that needs to be there in the financial model, and I think it will be very relevant for all of you, and which are the entities that need to make the change, and also change management plan for your entity, which you can take forward to downscale to your LCs. Amazing. Thank you, Second Vietnam. We're not going to go to it right now. You're just going to be going through this capacity building space, and also ensuring that they're making the product that we love. GV is the product that everybody loves. If there is somebody that doesn't love GV, I honestly think like they should rethink their priorities, because GV is such a beautiful product. It hurts me to see that it's not sustainable that much. But have you heard about bent methodology? Okay, amazing. That gives me a chance to show it to you. Okay, so BANT methodology is basically a sales qualification methodology that we as salespeople or your LCVPs, IGV, as salespeople determine whether a prospect is a good fit based on their budget, internal influence, ability to buy, need for product, and purchase timeline. So this is eventually about ensuring that you're raising partners that can pay and you're disqualifying prospects that eventually cannot pay you. And it's an acronym. B stands for budget, A stands for authority, N stands for need, and T stands for timing. And we're going to be discussing some of these in detail. So who of you has seen this CRM on Expa that was recently launched? Yes, I know, right? It's kind of cool. I took a screenshot here. Yes, yes. Do you use it though? Do your LCs use it, or do you use another CRMs? Hmm? Yeah. Okay. If you don't use it yet, you can go you try using it, or you can use another CRMs called HubSpot or anything like that. Okay, I'm gonna write the name of HubSpot. Oh my God, I'm sorry about my voice. Superb. So when it comes to Bant, it is majorly treated like a checklist because I said budget, authority, need, timing. So when we have this, we can kind of treat it as okay, like, do they have budget? Tick. Okay, we go ahead. So it is not about that. They're not directly gonna tell you when you do sales that they have the budget. And you're gonna need when you're in a sales meeting, you're gonna need to ask them a reverse question. Okay, how much do you usually invest in things like this? How much do you usually invest in volunteer projects? What are the costs incurred? What are the things that you usually um, would be ready to invest in, or what are the things that you think would make your current processes even better, and how much do you usually invest in them? So you don't directly ask them, okay, can you invest, or do you have money to give to Isaac? Can you invest in this project that we are gonna create with you? So it's not like that. It's about asking the right questions, as Daisel says in every single morning plenary. And yeah, how much is the eventual, like, the final goal of this part is going to be about how much is the prospect able and willing to spend. And then you have about authority. Who is the ultimate decision maker? Are you spending a lot of time just talking to people who do not have power over this decision of raising this project, raising this sale? Or is there somebody else who's also involved? Are they going to have to talk to their managers? Are they going to have to talk to their finance team? If they say, so imagine this, you're in this meeting with a possible partner, and they say that, okay, I think I need to check this with my manager. It's your first meeting with this partner, and you don't know if you're talking to the right person, and you could just be wasting time because this person would, there is a possibility that this person doesn't have any authority at all. So how you can kind of ensure that you know that this is the right person, or you're involving the right people, could be that who are these people that are usually involved in these decisions? Can you tell me about that? And then they would be like, okay, I will need to talk to my manager, I will need to talk to my finance team. And then you're like, okay, that sounds great. If it's possible, if it is okay with you, is it possible to also invite your manager or also invite someone from your finance team to our next meeting? And there you go, you are taking the right people in your next meeting. Then you have need. Does the prospect have a problem that your product can solve? So just for me to also get context, and just for me to also get a context on what is happening in your entities when your LCs or when you do GV sales, what are you usually trying to solve for your partners? Because in the end, sales is always about relieving their pains, relieving their needs. You can write in the chat or you can just unmute yourselves. International volunteers. Okay. This could be something that you are providing them. So they probably need volunteers or maybe even international volunteers. CSR positioning, yes, amazing. CSR, yes. Super, 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 super. And when it comes to NGOs, are they also looking for CSR or what are they looking for? They're looking for talent. When it comes to NGOs, what is their pain when it global perspective with low cost? Yes, yes, amazing. That is super. Okay, but I would also like to know from you, is this their absolute need or is this just something exciting that you're providing them? Because a lot of times, from my experiences as well, I've dealt with a few GV partners when I was LCP back in 2017. That when you are just providing them with something that is just exciting and not directly pinpointing to the needs that they have, or not directly, or how you are selling it is not directly pinpointing to the needs that they have, then they're just going to stick to the capacity of paying that they have in case they might have money, in case they might be an organization that has a lot of money, they might be a big NGO. But if you're not directly pinpointing to the needs that they have, they're not going to invest in you that much. And they're just going to say, okay, we don't have money. But if you're directly giving them a solution to something that they absolutely, absolutely need, then there might be a possibility that they might even consider increasing the package that you propose. This is one of the GCPs that I would say is from an account that I'm trying to upscale. So we've had this partner for quite some years with AI, and this partnership has been paying us the same amount of money for the past few years, and it's the same initiatives every single year. But this year, what I wanted to do was directly see how we as ISEC can actually be enabler for this partner, not just as a partner that provides them with ISECers, let's say, or let's just exciting opportunities to just place their brand, but actually also enabling their strategy for the coming year. Their what are their plans for the coming year? How would they like to grow? And then ISEC enabling them. And this is like the direct code that I'm using. It's not that significant, but I was talking to them about proposing a higher package because I really wanted ISEC to be more relevant to this company. And they were like, okay, my number one priority is gonna be making sure that the amount that has been there for the last few years stays the same. But if you have something that could directly be related to, let's say, reaching into the youth market, because this is one of the things that they plan to do, then I can talk to my team increasing the budget. And they're going to be increasing the budget by 25% this year because it's something that is directly helping them reach, or that is directly supporting their next year's strategy. And then there is a timing. Is there urgency? Making sure that the things that you're promising, you can actually deliver in that time. If it is a partner that says, okay, I need, today is what, 27th of November. In 2 weeks, I need 10 volunteers. Not gonna happen. Let's not waste time, and let's propose something else. If they only need volunteers in the next 2 weeks, not gonna happen. Bye bye. Then you have again dealing with an angry or difficult partner. So when it comes to, I would like to hear from you some of the unpleasant experiences that you've had in GV sales in the past, or things that went wrong. Probably you can write in the chat, or just you can just share with me. Meanwhile, I can share with you. Okay. So when I was LCP, before that I was not LCVP. I was team leader for iGV for 1 year, and I come from a small LC in India. At that time, it used to be small, and that year when I was team leader for iGV, we actually grew in iGV by 1,100%. We're not doing a lot of exchanges, but still in relative growth, it's a lot. And everybody was like super excited that, oh my God, we're growing so much. We were getting recognition in the plenary, but were we being sustainable? No, we were just looking at it from the perspective of just growing with numbers. And when you're dealing with just numbers, that then came the quality of the EPs that we were providing as well. this was one of the things that pissed a lot of partners off, and had to deal with not just me, but our, yes, you would relate. Um, the quality of the EPs was not that good. There were EPs that even had issues with saying even a single word in English, and somehow they passed the interview, and it was a whole mess. Okay, and the partners were kind of pissed. Okay, Isaac is not delivering what they were promised, or we were delivering the numbers, we were even overshooting our targets, and we were so excited with growth, and we were like, okay, we want more, we've tasted the success, we want more, but it's not sustainable. That is why sustainability is very important. Sustainable mindset is very important. And when you're dealing with an angry or difficult partner, you need to make sure, are you sticking to your robotic pitch, as in, are you dealing with the situation in the same way that you would deal with probably a normal partner? Are you still gonna sell them, or are you gonna still say to them the same things that you would probably say for another renewal for a partner? Or are you actually empathizing with your partner and maintaining that relationship? It is so important. It is so important. Let me check. Wait. Yes. So tips on how to deal with an angry partner is practice reflective listening. Reflective listening is basically, as Daisel actually, I think it was yesterday, when he was talking about mental health, and he said that, how do you, wait, let me check. Yeah, we don't have a lot of time. Yeah, when he was saying that when you practice reflective listening, you actually repeat back, or you actually ensure that the other person understands that you understand what they're saying. So they say like, okay, Isaac did a shitty job. You didn't provide the good quality EPs, and I don't know where my money is going. I don't see the quality, la 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 la. And then you say, okay, I see what you're saying, and I understand that the quality could have been better. And then they are like, okay, this person understands what I'm saying, and they are kind of owning up to it. Consider their biases as well. So sometimes it can also happen that this person already has biases from their past, and they're projecting all those biases onto Isaac or onto you as a salesperson. They already have a shitty opinion about Isaac, or they already have a conflicting opinion about having foreign EPs. Perhaps from, it could even be, from my experience, it has even been, some partners have had unpleasant issues from people with a certain nationality, and they would be like, okay, I don't want these people, I don't want people from this nationality, because they're always like this, things like that. So you have to consider their biases and then see like what they're saying, is it actually fair, or if it's not. And then you tap into the beginner's mind. You try to think it from their perspective. You try to think it from not the perspective of an ISECer or a person who has delivered them services. You tap into their mind, as in, how would it appear to them, how would it make them feel, and how would they like you to act right now. And you let go of the fear and take ownership. Sometimes what happens is that it's try to make excuses, we try to bullshit partners when they're angry. We are like, okay, we get it, this was, let's say you're not receiving that many applicants, there was a system failure, or these are the things that are happening, and you start to get defensive sometimes. So just let go of your fear and take ownership. Mention to them that these are the things that are happening right now. The best part in this situation is always over communicate, because if you're over communicating them, then they're already, instead of breaking them the news all of a sudden, you would rather let them in slowly. Okay, this is the thing where challenges might arise, this is the thing where things are going wrong. Again, I'm being very realistic here. When you're dealing with GV, there are things that might go wrong a lot of times. And then chunk the problem, as in, move their attention away from the problem, but actually bring them to the perspective of explaining the way forward. Okay, these things happened, we accepted. Okay, these were the things that went wrong, these were the things that could have been done better. I would frame it like that, and then explain the way forward. And this is how actually, this issue that I had in my LC, we had the level of pissingness that we had from the partner was really bad, because again, it was a lot of growth for sure, but the quality was not good. So one thing that I realized as an LCP, because I was in the transition period when all of this was happening, and I got elected as LCP directly from team leader. And it was a big challenge for me to handle all of that negativity that I was seeing like was coming from the partners. And one thing that I did was, okay, I took ownership on the things that went wrong. These were the things that could have been done better from our side. And I understand your perspective. I understand how this affected you, but this is how we're going to make sure that such things never happen in the future. And guess what? All of them stayed, because just because of the fact that we explained to them not just the problem, but the way forward. And yeah, apart from this, then you have this major talk of the year, which is COVID happened, now what? And all of you said that you are being affected, your GV operations are going to get affected. There might even be possibility that you might not even get to do GV for a while. So are you still keeping your partners engaged, even if GV is not currently that feasible? So GV partners are usually lovely, as in like they have a lot of value to provide, because they are in that mindset that they are actually doing good for the world. So are you still keeping your partners engaged, or are you just like, okay, we're going to come back to you when COVID situation gets better and we can do projects together? Or are you proposing them new touch points that are more feasible and relevant in current context? Imagine this: if you have these projects with, let's say, an NGO, and there might be case that this NGO has stopped functioning entirely in this COVID context, or they might have other initiatives that they're probably engaged in. A lot of NGOs are now going virtual, as in they're trying to have more webinars, they're trying to have more web presence. So are you proposing them such new exciting points that are more feasible and relevant in the current context? Or you could look into having, let me check the chat, you could even look into having more digital engagements, and you could look into having more, let's say, virtual events, sell them a whole kind of in a virtual world's largest lesson format, but not technically branded world's largest lesson. But you can have something like this. Another idea that I can propose to you: imagine that you're partnering with some schools that are having virtual classes. If you have a project in quality education, if you have a project related to SDGs, sorry, so should I want to know how others do or plan to do, what kind of engagements do. Okay, yeah, we will have the space. Yes, we will have the space. We don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna check this. Wait. Yes, so I'm gonna just have this activity. So you're gonna have what, 5 minutes, and you're gonna be role playing in this activity. You will have 5 minutes to prepare the upfront contact and check the sustainability report or material issues, and come up with questions that you're gonna be asking to this partner in a meeting. And the situation is, you meet with a current GV partner that has always done GV exchanges with you, but now your entity cannot do GV, and you're planning a meeting to discuss the situation and come up with the way forward. This can be a hypothetical scenario, or this can even be a scenario that you've probably done in the past months. Is it clear? Amazing. Wait. Assign manually. I'm gonna assign you guys. Okay. Clear, ready. Superb. Let's do this. I'll see you in 5 minutes. So I would like to know from you, how is your space, and what were the things that you perhaps noticed or that happened in your breakouts? We can start with
Okay,
room number one. Yeah. Anyone?
okay, maybe we, okay, me.
Mhm.
Okay, actually, in my group, there is Mary and also there is Monica, and then I'm as Isaacr and also Monica as Isaacr and Mary as the partner, and then we just role play. I'm as the Isaacr, just yeah. The the current context right now, they are NGO and also they are really hard to run the NGO especially in pandemic, and then there's a lot of member right now cannot doing because lockdown happens, and then I just ask everything that the partner really hard to doing, so that's why I know the pain right now, and then when the partner just asks, and then what are you doing here, I just want to discuss, especially in the Isaac in GV, especially in Isaac, we just discuss how we can running the product, especially in our current context in Isaac we have a lot of problem, and then how we can running, is it especially they what kind of the partnership that partner can support, especially maybe they can support in terms of accommodation or in terms of that an in-kind partner, so that's why I think it's really hard to get the partnership, but yeah, we know the current context right now, and then the the current not the current but the result is how we can running the product with our current context, with our problem, especially in partner problem and also Isaac problem, and then how we can win-win solution to get especially in the product and especially in GV, how we can running, and then we can win-win solution together. Sumi, you mute yourself, Sumi.
Okay, sorry. Okay, thank you for that. This is, I was saying that this is the time when you empathize with your partners and you try to understand how this whole situation is actually affecting them and what are the things that they are doing right now to tackle this whole situation. So we can move with another sharing. We can have one more sharing. Anyone? Okay, I'm gonna move ahead. Okay. Okay, Renz was nominated. Renz, floor is yours. Peer pressure. Ha ha ha.
Hello, hi. Um, okay, well, for our breakout session, since I had connectivity issues, um, Anne wasn't able to share, sadly. But what I guess I told her was in terms of trying to engage with the current partners that we had even pre-COVID. In the Philippines, just to give everyone a context, we were recently hit by a typhoon. So a lot of the NGOs that we're currently contacting with have been affected. So what we did after that was definitely, you know, um, move our focus from trying to um, negotiate with them or like engage in terms of how we can still make a project to, helping them provide assistance or aid with what they needed to recover from um, any resources or damages that they um, were having in their own communities as well. So right now for us, it's really mostly a time to help them first because yeah, no, as everyone knows, it's not just the projects that we're doing are also basically aligned to trying to help them in general. So yeah, that's for our case.
Thank you so much for that sharing. Actually, it makes so much sense, especially in the current context. And one of the other things that I can also probably share with you is that so we have this partnership with Electrolux, okay, and on the global level. And what we do is one part is GT. I'm going to talk about GV. And we in some countries we have these projects every year on SDG number 12, responsible consumption and production and consumption, and it's basically about food sustainability And yeah, it was, I think, in 11 or 12 countries. I think in Malaysia for sure it was there. So right now we're not kind of, because of the current context, and also because Electrolux is a very big brand, so they don't want to be associated that much with encouraging traveling or overseas travel. So what we're trying to do to engage that part of the partnership is through more digital initiatives, collaborate with your marketing people, because Electrolux Food Foundation, that is the department that handles these NGO projects, or these NGO projects. So try to innovate with your marketing buddy about what are the initiatives that you could probably come up with. So one of the things that we recently did was we did this 10 days food heroes challenge, which is like every single day you give actionable steps to young people or to the audience on social media through a digital campaign on the small things that they can do to become more food sustainable. And then you have digital campaign, and you can even invest some money into it and propose it as a digital engagement. So it's entirely going to be on to you as to how you can innovate with more such initiatives. These can be some of the ideas that you can probably downscale with your current GV partners on national level if you have some, or if you don't, then probably take them forward to your LC levels. Yeah. And if you have any questions, we don't have a lot of time. I will drop in my email, or you know me already. You can just reach out to me after this session. And let me check the chat. Okay, I think I can take one question. Let's go.
Can I go? I
Mhm.
have a lot of questions, but I think I can just ask one
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now. All right. So, I mean, I think you can also give us a little bit more perspective about how iGV and VD can collaborate together. Especially, I mean, right now, so we have a lot of partners, right? And it's a little bit difficult to retain those current partners because they are very, very old partners, some 7, 8 years old partners, and they give a lot of opens as well. At the same time, they cover some logistics part as well. So it's not that they are unsustainable, but then they don't basically provide any money, any raise fees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is against the GV principles right now. So it's just that how can we have BD also collaborating in this so that let's say they find third party sponsors or something for specifically those partners, those projects, so that those projects are sustainable. So do you have like any ideas or let's say any projects in mind wherein BD and IG both can collaborate together and have funds raised for IGV for let's say not national level but then local level for LCs?
I think one of the things that you can also do, first of all, have this conversation with your partner if there are services that they are providing, or that you can also support them with. That would be like the simplest solution, not an entire solution, but other than that, you can look into having, uh, in this current context, digital or virtual engagement touchpoints. One of the examples that I just shared with you was this digital campaign or engagement campaign or activational campaign that we talk about. And also with India, I think you did this Young Leaders Day as well. So not just keeping it open to, let's say, young people, but look into partnering with schools. This is like one of the brainchilds of mine. I really want to implement this. So if we can partner perhaps with some schools that are having online education, so maybe you can have certain slots, or you can try approaching these schools where you can have these touch points from the partners where you're delivering such capacity building sessions or such impactful sessions. And that would be like another addition to your portfolio. I'm not sure if I answered it entirely correctly, but I think in this current context, you can look into having like more such touch points and diversifying the things that you're selling to these partners.
All right, thank you. Do we have time for one more question?
We are actually over time already. So maybe you can write it later to me
Yeah,
afterwards. Yeah.
sure.
And
Thank you.
yeah, I will just sum it up. So for the salespeople, make sure that you have the behaviors to your routine and try to stick to them wherever you are, and you will become successful. I know it's easier said than done. It's GV. It can be challenging. It's when it comes to GT sales, okay, it's more like, okay, it's professional, and it's more like you're dealing with money. When it comes to GV, I think it's more related to the heart, and it's more, we try to think it from that, like, yes, impact. It's going to be great. It is great, but money as well. And make sure that you stick to the sales process and do not jump on the stages. Do not underestimate the power of qualifying your leads, qualifying your partners that have the ability to pay. If there are some exceptions that, okay, this is going to be a really, really great partnership, think about it, but make sure that you're not ignoring the sustainability part of it. And every time that you're interacting with a prospect, make sure to set the expectations, like I said, and then prepare for meetings properly, use band. This is basically like BD principles. And make sure to reflect on your meetings and be a constant learner. And in the end, I like having dramatic quotes. If you're not running GV sustainably, you're endangering ISEC's existence in your entity. And I can vouch for this for sure because of the whole challenge that I saw when I was LCP personally, that we were already in debt, and because of the experiences that we delivered and the projects that we were running were not sustainable, we were actually on the verge of like not having ISEC in our entity at all. So if your LCs are not running GV sustainably, make sure that you communicate it to them that they're actually endangering ISEC's existence. So this is the time to actually think about sustainability. And I think when the GV exchanges are not that visible right now, in this coming times, you can take the time to reflect on all the things that you can do, all the things that you can do for change management when things get better, or you can try to see like how you can innovate to create impact. Don't just have to be GV, because GV partners are usually really aligned with the purpose, really aligned with making impact. So look into things that you can probably implement to keep them engaged and continue to create an impact. And yes, you can stay in touch with me here, or you can just write to me in the Zoom chat in checkouts. I'm almost in like every session. I'm even in the social agenda. I just try to get as much energy as I can from people. So yes, I'm sorry we didn't have a lot of time to go through everything, but I hope it was something that was relevant or you had some good conversations. I know things can always be more interactive, but maybe we can end with a screenshot because I miss GV, guys.
Should I hide my